This has been the location of an experiment we've called Data Scientist Training for Librarians. And I'll tell you a bit more about this course that we've been teaching here. But first, I just wanted to thank, I felt like it was more like a pact that we did initially, because it really was an experiment. No one got credit for this. No one received a certificate, but I think ultimately everyone believed in what we were trying to do, and I just wanted to thank the participants, and I also wanted to thank the speakers that came in, because they did it out of their free time too. They didn't receive, well, some of them did receive Starbucks gift cards, but they basically did this for free to come in and teach us a little bit about what data science is. So. Just to start, I wanted to provide a background on why we did this. I have to say that the reason behind it was is essentially my past experience. I wouldn't call myself a programmer, but I learned how to program on my own, and then I realized going to library school that it was an asset, and just realizing a lot of situations it's helped me as a librarian throughout my career. And the other thing is that at Harvard we had this project called, well, we had a lot of innovation going on. I'm sure a lot of other places have tried to innovate and talked about interoperability. And one of the things in these meetings that I often saw was that the people that organized it asked us for our ideas, the librarians, and then said, "Well, now we're going to turn to our programmers. We're going to turn to developers." And I thought, that in order to achieve interoperability or innovation, the training needed to be all around. That everyone needed to understand what we need to do now with data and programming and other things like that. All the things that we need to do to upgrade our skills. And the other thing was about data management as well, that I always, I'm heavily involved with the e-science initiatives here. And I often find that people talk about the policies but never really understand how to work with data. And I thought, that having this experience allows you to provide better data services, allows you to sympathize and understand the needs of the researchers and speak to them at the same level instead of citing policies. So the other thing was that I needed to train my staff, and it wasn't working well where I run in and teach my staff a few lines of code and then run out and come back 3 or 4 hours later. One of my staff members said that they needed more structure, and another staff member, Louise Rubin, she knows I'm pretty incorrigible. She said, "Let's just do it." And I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So we decided to start this course just basically on our own free will and put together this course. And I just like to say what makes a data scientist. I think it's something we hear about all the time. We hear about big data and that the new skill set that you need, in the future is to be able to work with data and to understand all the steps that you take working with it. And but as you can see, it was hard to find a definition for this. I think everyone has a different definition, and I pulled one of the better ones that I saw. I think many of those are things that librarians can do. I think what really makes some people afraid of thinking about doing something like this is you see computer algorithms or statistical analysis, and really when they talk about data scientists, they're usually physicists or astrophysicists, and they do understand these complex scenarios, and I think though that librarians can do something within this realm, and I know it's a stretch, but I really do think that some of that process that I showed there are things that we can do, especially, it's not just me. The NSF had a report in 2005 where they actually list librarians as key contributors to the data science realm. And one other thing is holding this course, the speakers that come in, at first they're like, this is a little bit strange, librarians. It's something new that they haven't heard before. But when they come in and speak and interact with us, then they come away. Every time I've gotten the reaction that, yeah, we do think there's a role for librarians. We understand it now. I think one other thing too is that we came across in our course was because data science, you see there that you're working with statistical analysis, is that one thing we try to grapple with is whether you're data savvy or you want to be a data scientist. I don't really want to discount the data science part of it because I think I'd like to be optimistic and see people try and do many of these things. But I think just data savvy is good for libraries and in general, librarians, because we definitely need to upgrade our skills. So just to talk about the course ingredients, what went into the course, I definitely needed help teaching this course, and so I had a lot of help from Simmons student, Jennifer Prentice. and she had to figure this out along the way too, because no one had ever taught a course like this for librarians. At least in my impression, most of the time you go to a course and you go to like the Pythonistas, or you go to one of these local meetup groups and they run a course and it's just a day, and you do, you type a bunch of things down and then you go home and you don't remember anything. And this was something different where we wanted to go the full stretch and really test all the at least many of the technologies that data scientists use. And I also want to thank Louise Rubin, who also assisted with, also a Simmons graduate. We used a site called Lore. It's I think it's popular in certain corners for organizing course websites. I don't think we liked it in the end. Because our communications were really difficult to search later on. So, but we needed something fast, and it did somewhat of the trick. And then the other thing is we had a website, a WordPress site, where we wanted everything to be transparent, open, available to anyone who wanted to follow the course, because we knew that it was important to libraries. And I was just checking my email the other day, and I think I received 233 messages from librarians all over the world that were interested in this course. And I think there are more. And so I definitely think that the site will help some of the people that want to do something similar. And then the classroom, we had a collaborative space. Many libraries have collaborative spaces now, but more like a space that could be like a hacker space. That's what the feeling was like. And we had a common platform API, NASA ADS. It's a great system. It's one of those open, it's an open online database. It really it made me love astronomy better, actually, because when I came to astronomy, from other disciplines, everything was closed, and it was so nice and refreshing to have an open system like the ADS. And the other thing is we used open technologies with Python, R, and we had some other ones in there. But the other thing was projects, hack days. I felt it was very important to not just follow a standard structure like do steps 1 through 10 in like a training curriculum. I wanted to throw a problem at everyone, and you know, some groups really I never intended for them to actually do so much with it, but they've done great things, and we'll be looking at some of their projects soon here. And then speakers, we had a network of speakers from the various meetup groups, and the other thing that I wanted to say is that everyone wanted us to be online. When in those 233 messages I got, most of them said, "Is this online?" And I actually think it was a good idea that it wasn't online. We tried WebEx, our first session, it went terrible. And you know, one of the other things is that it was nice to meet in person. I think that was one of the benefits of this course. And so I just briefly tell you about the outline here. You know, we have these projects, right? So they help guide us through the process. But you know, other things was I just mentioned that we use the ADS, and we use tools like Python to collect the data, to clean and transform it. We use something like Open Refine. To share, we use some common data sharing services. And you know, as you can see, we used R, and to present, to visualize, we used Tableau. Or the other thing is D3 is something I wish that we could have done. We couldn't have done it all in the course, but I know how important this is to the data science community. And then we just finished up by telling some of the stories on the blog. There's some data stories on the blog. Again, we're transparent. Everything's there. A lot of the course outline was pulled from a Berkeley course. And I also wanted to mention Christine Eslaus. She created a resources list. She captured everything in our course and just put it into a list. I'll post this presentation later, but she captured everything, every tool that we used, every recommendation. And so just to tell you about the projects, so we split up into groups, and the problems we had were trying to make connections between different resources, like the New York Times to the ADS, or the Internet Archive to the ADS, or HathiTrust or grants geocoding to the ADS. And then worked with that data using what we were learning in the class to tell a story. And I guess one thing, just from the feedback, and speaking to that last slide is I feel strongly about the projects. I think everyone in the course said it'd be nice to work on a common data set. So like that's one thing where I don't know like what we should do, but I do understand their side and the other side of trying to get your hands dirty and faced with a problem. And then I just wanted to say some of the things that we talked about in this course is that the speakers, the context was very important, but that we should start with it first to understand what really data science is. We really jumped right into Python right away. and I know that was one of the things that people said, let's start off slowly. Let's start with Open Refine. Let's start with GitHub. And some of these things were sprinkled throughout the course. Sometimes we had to shuffle the course, and so to have contingency plans would be nice. And I think one of the more major pieces of feedback is to make it modular, the class, to make it so that you can interchange different parts of it, and people can come for different parts of the course if they wanted to. And to have tests, so like homework for your skills, to test your skills, to get tutoring. And then, yeah, I think the other one is important is compensation time. Of course, to be able to actually attend this course, the people in the course came on Saturdays, and you know, they weren't getting paid for that. But I imagine that more people would want that kind of compensation to attend a course like this. At the moment, we're thinking about expanding the data scientist training for librarians course for the Harvard Library. But I think oftentimes when I try to respond to people that are emailing me about this course, I tell them, that there are courses. There's a course on Coursera. Another group is Software Carpentry that comes in and does these trainings for free. You just need the space and equipment, but that's a great way to at least start something like this. And I just wanted to thank again the speakers and students, but I really wanted to move on to the project because I think that'll show you what we did in the class, and then leave the questions and answers to later about the course. I just wanted to give you a background about the course itself, and but I want the projects the presentations to speak for the course. So without further ado, I introduce Alex Holacek. She's one of the participants in the course.